Hey everybody, I'm just trying to bring you into my kitchen and show you how I make this amazing cauliflower rice recipe that is adaptable to just about any flavor. But tonight we are craving Mexican, so I've got some seasonings here and some veggies and some meat, and I'm just going to bring you into my kitchen and show you how I do this. I've been trying to make cooking videos. I've had my channel out for about 7 months now, and I've done a few videos, but I keep like wanting to, I'm going to show them this and I'm going to show them that, but keep waiting for the exact moment when I have, time to set everything up properly and write out a script and do all these things. Well, I've come to the conclusion that's probably not going to happen. So if I'm going to show you, I'm just going to show you while I'm actually cooking a meal for my husband and myself. So here I've got some grass-fed beef that I'm cooking down, and I have some veggies that I've already got prepped and ready to go. Onions, some bell peppers, some seeded jalapeno peppers, some garlic cloves. I've got my seasonings here, some pink Himalayan salt, some chili powder, cumin, cayenne pepper. And the star of the show here is cauliflower rice that my husband gets from Costco, which you guys, I promise, is freaking amazing if you cook it properly. When I cook it, well, you'll see, I just steam it. I don't boil it like the instructions say to do, because if you do that, bleh, it doesn't taste good. So here we go. Just gonna dice up some veggies here. We're working on a pepper, and a lot of times come home from work and I'm tired and I don't really feel like doing this, but eating healthy to us is really important. We understand that our body literally makes the tissues with the food that we put in our body, and we want our tissues to be made out of good quality food. We really cut out a lot of the crap in our diet over the last few years. My husband will still have like beer and real bread and stuff occasionally, but for the most part he tries to follow this same protocol that I do, which is pretty much organic, grass-fed, free range. But I can honestly tell you guys, I did not start like this. I would learn information and implement, and learn information and implement on my journey to trying to get well and get better. This isn't something that happened overnight. It was a very long process. And people can tell you from the job that I've got, and watch what I've eaten over the years, there was a time when I was just cutting out just additives and things like that. And I would bring like, a jar of oats and blueberries, and that's what I would have for a meal or whatever. I've done a lot of experimenting, and I'm finding that right now this is what's working best for us. But as I continue to learn, we continue to make changes. So that's why we try to eat as organic as possible. Oh God, he had to show you his beer. Oh yes, see? That you didn't catch me with a beer in my hand. Well, first of all, I don't really like the taste of it, so I guess I'm just weird. And second of all, I have a little bit of an issue where I still don't trust myself with sugar. I haven't had it for a while, just because it was a coping mechanism for me. Kind of the same way that I guess a heroin addict copes with life with a substance. Instead of dealing in the moment, they have a tendency to push emotions or situations down and not deal in the moment and distract themselves with something else. Changes their state, like with a drug. Sugar can be a drug. I know it's not that way for everybody, but for some people it certainly is a drug and a coping mechanism. I mean, just take a look around you. Not everybody is prone to the same drug, so to speak. That's why I can have a glass of alcohol and not feel the need to have a bunch more. It's just no big deal. Now, you can't put a cigarette in my hand. I mean, I smoke one cigarette and then be okay. I think I would be wrapped in those chains all over again. I just don't trust myself to have one cigarette after being an ex-smoker. Smoking a pack a day, not cool. So yeah, you guys could get your kids involved in this too. Like, you've seen those little slap choppers that they have. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. They have this little circular thing that you put over the vegetable, and it's got this little button on top, and you can literally watch this little knife chop underneath the dome. Perfectly safe for kids to use as long as they keep it over the food and don't put their hand under there. But you get your kids involved in this. You could use a food processor. You could take advantage of the grocery store, and they have this little section of pre-cut veggies. I, on the other hand, am pretty proficient with a chef's knife, so it doesn't take me long. By the time this meat's done cooking, I should be ready to throw all these veggies in and saute in the fats that are left over from the beef and get a nice brown on them. But yeah, so I've been wanting to show you guys a lot of these different recipes, and Malia, I know that you've been asking me, like, show me food prep videos, and I'm sorry, honey. I keep trying to figure it out. Oh, you know, I'm going to set aside all this time, and I'm going to, you know, make this recipe and show everybody how to do it. Well, you know what? Life moves fast, and this is pretty much the only way that it's going to happen right now anyway. This is the way it's going to go down. So, let me get this cooking here. Just brown this beef down. We try to get the, I was in the habit of, when I used to buy ground beef, of buying the leanest ground beef I could possibly get, like the 90, you know, 90% beef, 10% fat, or 85-15, but I have a tendency now to buy the 80-20, just because we used to, and I still do sometimes if I don't want something really greasy, but instead of me pouring some oil in here to saute the veggies in, I'll be able to just throw my vegetables right in there. Now that we do a ketogenic diet, well, not always in ketosis, but we try to eat as low carb as possible, going in and out of healthy ketosis. So just cook that down. I've got it on high. Hopefully you can see this. There we go. And now that our beef is pretty much cooked, let's add our vegetables. Goes in there. As you can see, it doesn't really take that long. I like to try to, when I do cook, because I don't cook every night, mind you. There's nights when I'm exhausted, I've had a rough day or whatever, and I'm just like, screw it. Let's just go get like a Quest pizza from the grocery store or whatever. But I do try to cook as much as possible, just because we're trying to stay away from, you know, like trans fats. I know that the Quest pizza in particular, and I didn't even realize it until my husband pointed it out on the label. I have a tendency to be like, oh, okay, it's got enough carbs, I'm just going to eat that. And just kind of look at that. And he looks at the ingredients, and he showed me, he's like, do you realize this has trans fats in it? And I was eating Quest pizza quite a bit. And so we've kind of slowed down on that. But I mean, we're not perfect, right? You gotta live. I guess it's better than going through McDonald's or whatever and getting that. I mean, so I don't do this every single night, but I try to do it as much as possible. So get this onion chopped up, garlic, that in there. Let it cook down. If you guys give this recipe a try, leave a comment or post a picture. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Just post a picture. Show me how it came out. I would love to see all the different things that everybody does. Like I said, this cauliflower rice is amazing. I do. Probably going to do an Asian dish tomorrow. So if I do the same thing again. Do a video so you guys can see how it's done. But this cauliflower rice is so good. I'm gonna do different vegetables tomorrow, like shredded purple cabbage, and obviously the different colored peppers. Probably not going to do any carrot because of the carb content in carrots, but if you wanted to, you could probably shave it in there for some color. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do like some Brussels sprouts. I have some kale. Probably going to do my kale salad tomorrow and throw a handful or two of that in there. And we have this product called liquid aminos that tastes just like soy sauce. Super good. And I'll use that and we'll have like a fried rice. So I was doing this diet for years and never once used riced cauliflower. To me, it just sounded disgusting. I was like, really? Like, who wants to eat mushy cauliflower? But, and trying these other products, you kind of get the feeling for, there's nothing really that replaces the carbohydrate flavor, I guess. When you're eating real pasta or you're eating real bread, it's really, really difficult to find a ketogenic product or a low carb product that even comes close to satisfying that craving for having, a real pasta or a real bread. And I have found that this product far exceeds my expectations, but only if it's cooked in this manner. I mean, my husband's from the South, and when he does, like they do red beans and rice or rice and gravy, I don't particularly recommend using it that way, where you just make it like a rice and then put something over the top of it. I mean, you can, but to me, it works best as a blended flavor, blended ingredient, like you're making like a dish, like a casserole style or something. That's when it works best. That's when it's the most familiar. It tastes more like an actual rice or whatever. So, okay guys, so now we add the cauliflower rice, and as you can see, it is frozen. Just going to open and throw it in the skillet. Just like that. I mean, it's just such an amazing product. I love it. I mean, I'm going to start to run out and I'll be like, make sure you get some. And so he comes home with a big bag of it. It's got like, the bag he buys has like 4 of those bags inside of it. So each one is a meal plus leftovers that either he or I can take to work if we're eating that day or not fasting. So I just do that, and then do cumin and pink Himalayan salt and chili powder. That's what this says right here. Just gonna throw some of that on there, stir it around, put the lid back on, and let this steam up. And then while I'm waiting for that to finish cooking with the lid on it, I'm gonna shred up some of this Kerrygold Dublinger grass-fed cheese, which is amazing. That my husband also gets from Costco. Okay. Let's put the lid on here and let it cook. I am cooking this over high heat. I'm just staying on top of it and watching it the whole time. So, I could get out the food processor and do this, but it's quicker, less cleanup to just do it this way. I like these big shreds on this type of grater because it's more of a punch of flavor when a shred this big melts rather than a tiny little punch. I've noticed that the grocery store has been carrying chunkier grated cheese. Now it's not just the extra fine or the regular grate. They've got like the bigger chunks. And I do notice that it does make a difference in your dishes when you really want a little bit of cheese flavor to come through without it being like, or the flavors aren't really married together. It's just you're getting a bite of this and a bite of that, and that taste of the cheese really comes through the dish. So that's why I like that. And I think I need just a little bit more. Be careful. These These graters can be pretty menacing if you hit your finger just right on here. That's why I'm really careful when I use these things. But like I said, I do like the larger grates and shreds that this one makes. It's an old one. It's just like old. I think I got this from like a Goodwill or something. Just couldn't pass it up when I seen it. Okay. We got that chunky grate right there. It's looking good. Gonna add that Mexican cheesy flavor that we like it's a Spanish rice dish. And this is, I mean, if you're used to the Spanish rice in a Mexican restaurant, you're really gonna enjoy this because it's got a lot of flavor. I mean, it's not gonna have the beans and all that kind of stuff on the side because those are high carb, but this is a really tasty dish. And trust me, if my husband likes it, he's from Louisiana, and they're rice people. Kind of like we are in the Pacific Northwest, we're potato people. Yeah, Louisiana, they like their rice. And if he really enjoys this dish, you know it's gotta be good. Like, I found a couple of recipes so far that he really enjoys as much as the original, which is awesome. This and fried chicken, which is for another video. Okay, you guys, I have been letting this cook probably 10 minutes or so and watching it. I'm getting it to, I don't know if you can see that because it's probably a lot of steam, but I've got it to where you see that how dry the skillet is when you move all this aside. That's when you know that your dish is just about done. You want the cauliflower to be cooked enough to where it's not going to have that like vegetable, I guess, flavor. I don't really know how to put it, but it's going to be palatable. It's going to be well cooked. It's going to be blended with the seasonings good. I've got it turned down. And if you see that, how pretty that is, all the different colors. Now, I'm going to plate it up. Let you see what this looks like with my little rice paddle. How pretty that is. And then, I'm going to add some cheese to that. And then I have like some sour cream and hot sauce on the side. It's a lot. Probably won't use but a few bites of that, but there you have it. Pretty delicious. Give it a try.